Hello, everybody. Once again, if you're listening to this in the morning, I go ahead, pick up a cup, Bustelo, or if you're listening to this in the afternoon, listening to this in the evening, pick up a drink of your choice. Go ahead, pull up to your favorite chair, kick back, and let's go ahead and let's talk for a bit. What I wanted to go ahead and chat with y'all as we move forward throughout our own journeys is the importance of having a strong will and working towards your goals. Now, what do I mean by that? So, let me ask you a question. It's a very similar conversation I had about, daily, weekly, even monthly goals. What are we doing in terms of moving forward? Now, for some, again, some may have had a great week. Some may have had a not necessarily tough, but a challenging week, and some, are just about even. And wherever you're at in that spectrum is perfectly fine. One of the things that is going to keep you going is now this is whether depending on your passion, depending on your gift, depending on what it is you want to develop, you have one of the things that I've been learning throughout this journey is being open to learning, being able to do something that no matter how old you are, no matter how young you are, no matter what, it's just having that spirit of just being able to just do it, just being able to just take it and run with it. And I'm going to go ahead and share a personal story that that kind of helps me really focus in and key in on what I mean by that specifically. So this week, being the 26-year-old that I am, I decided that what, it's about time that I got or I'm working towards getting my driver's license. That's right. As embarrassing, as silly as it is to some, I don't have my driver's license yet. However, early this week, I took a step towards that path of getting a driver's license. I have officially my permit, and it's sitting in my wallet. The real one is going to be coming in the mail very soon. But what this allows me to do now is concentrate on driving, concentrate on learning how to drive. Now, as with my other endeavors that I'm learning to work with, being that I still want to grow my podcast and I still want to come back to it, being that I am still a Forex trader and learning how to master that, there are skills, there are things that I am still striving towards. Just like you're striving towards whatever you want to do. Now, for some that are a little bit older than me, you may think that some of these skills that you're working on right now, oh, it may be too late. I may not, this might not, I should have worked on this earlier. Well, let me put this into perspective for you. It is never, 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 never too late to learn something that you want to learn. Again, let me come back to driving for a minute. I am sure people that are my age, well before my age, already know how to drive. It's funny. I think it's something that a lot of my friends, understandably, kind of mock me about, kind of question me about. Again, it's perfectly fine. you know, because at the end of the day, it is an important skill. It's something to learn, and it's also a bit more convenient than relying on public transport or relying on those apps now that you got nowadays, like Uber or Lyft. Now, full disclosure, Uber and Lyft are still very good, especially, if we all do have a little fun. It's all right. It's fine. Everyone has a little fun nowadays. But, and that's what those, particular apps are supposed to do. But outside of those particular scenarios, like if I wanted to take a drive out to Colorado, or I'm sorry, not to Colorado, but some of the more isolated areas of Colorado, if I wanted to go camping, or if I wanted to go out to New Hampshire to see my father, or, just go anywhere, really. And I didn't feel like, driving to the air, going on the airplane or something like that. I don't know why, but, as a scenario, if I wanted to explore this country, explore this world a little bit better, which I am going to do, I'm going to explore this entire world. It's going to be a lot better, probably a lot more cheaper in the long term, if I know how to drive, so that I can take my car, which ultimately will be a Tesla, and be able to go to all these different states, go to all these different cities. But how can I do that if I don't know how to drive? Now, a lot of the things that, you're going to realize as you get into, your next skill that you want to learn, or, if you want to do an extension of what you're already doing, but just a little bit better. It is scary to think to yourself, okay, what was I used to doing, in the past? And can I really be able to learn what it is I want to learn, when I'm at the age that I'm currently at? And again, it's not just for the older people I want to talk to, it's for the younger people, because some skills, they're going to say, oh, you're too young for that. They're going to say, oh, you're too old for that. No, you know what? Why? Why should that bother you? Right? Because at the end of the day, it's your damn life. Pardon my French, but it is your life. And yes, driving is also inherently a little bit scary for me. There's always that fear of, oh, what if I crash? Or God forbid I run into somebody. Of course that fear is in my head. Of course it is. It's a natural fear. I'm sure any driver out there has that. It may not be what I like to call the fear right out in front, like you're not thinking about it all the time or whatnot, but it is something in the back of your head that you do think about. Just like Forex trading, there's certain risk, and just like driving, there's certain risk too. But at the end of the day, and I think as I get to really understand where I'm at right now, those risks that I'm calculating in my head, sometimes I have to let that stuff go in order to move forward towards the path that I want. Like I said, coming back to what I want, right? I do want a Tesla, and I do want the freedom to go wherever I want to without having to rely on, public transit or, an Uber or Lyft. Now, again, those things are warranted in some situations. I go back to the fact that if someone is drinking, you don't want to necessarily drive. All right, no drinking and driving, please. I hope nobody does that. But again, outside of that, I want to be able to have that freedom to go wherever I want to go, to do whatever I please without having to rely on that stuff. I always think back to, some of the a couple of years ago, 2, 3, 4, when I really got settled out in Colorado. And again, a lot of, what happened, a lot of how I used to get around was I was always so dependent on rides. Again, not just from public transit or not even from Ubers or Lyfts, but I was always so dependent on my friends. Even though I would outright say, hey, if needed, I can get home my own way. I knew in the back of my head that whenever they offered a ride, I'd always kind of jump at the offer. It's all right. It's fine. I can understand and embrace that. But now as I get a little older, I realize that that way of thinking is outdated. It needs to move forward. And so with that, I've taken that first step. I've gotten the license. I even practiced a little bit of driving. And of course, it was scary. I was like, oh my God. Oh, I was like, empty parking lot. Oh, that's easy. I was up actually yesterday on the streets, and I'm driving. I'm like, oh my God, there's an old man. Oh my God, there's a car. I hope I don't crash. I hope I don't do anything stupid. That initial fear. But then you know what? I did it. I feel a little bit more confident. Now, am I ready to get out there in the streets and go on highways and expressways and do my business? No, not yet. Again, as I have alluded to in a couple of videos, everything is a process. So you first got to go through the parking lot and you got to drive around a little bit, practice your turns. Then you got to go on the streets and still do the same thing. But now you've got some cars, you got some people, so you got a few obstacles, so you gradually learn. I remember, and I still have a lot of growing to do with the car. There's a thing called a K-turn out there. That's how you know. That's how you know how. That's how you know. I know about. That's how you. Let me rephrase. That's how you know how much I know about driving, because I don't even know how to do a K-turn. Some people are like, "Oh my God, you don't know how to do a K-turn yet? Come on, Jordan." But in all seriousness, there are levels to this. There are steps to this. Just like my other endeavors, just like other ventures I have, there are steps to this that you climb. There are goals that you set. There are days that you progress, and everything is a progress. So to the person out there that, wants to learn a new skill, but doesn't feel like either A, they are too young or too old, or B, they got that fear of, let me think about my worst case scenarios here. At the end of the day, you have to put those fears and clear them out of your head. At the end of the day, no matter how old or how young you are, you got to say to yourself, age is just a number, and just do it. Just do it, because once you're able to get that done, you're going to say to yourself, wow, that was incredibly easy, or wow, I don't know why I was so afraid, or wow, I'm able to move forward in a better direction. I alluded to this earlier, but every day for you should be a step in the right direction. And so that first step right now, if there is a skill that's just calling out to you, or if you have seen signs that I really got to do this, don't just think about it. Do it. Write it down. Do whatever it is that you have to do in order to put that thing, that skill that you want to learn, down into reality. Because You're going to be a master. You are going to crush. You are going to be a leader in what you want to do, in what you want to accomplish. Who cares about those fears? Who cares about the people that say, "Oh, you're too young," or you're too old"? Who cares about the people that say, "Oh, you're never going to make it"? Who cares? Because at the end of the day, who should care is number one. Who should care is yourself. Everybody else should be outside of your barrier, should be outside of your highest self, should be outside of your energy, outside of your light. So my question to you, what is it that you not only want to do, but what is it that you are going to not only accomplish, but kick some major BUTT because you took the time to learn that skill? Everybody, go be great and go be blessed.